So it's been a couple of weeks since the last entry I was able to do into this little mini-series. Basically, the only excuse is because I just unfortunately don't have the time to do it as much as I would like to. It took me a couple of weeks to get the last video out that I released last week, Daredevil, The Unfortunate Case of Daredevil. I'm very happy with that video, and that took me a little bit longer to kind of produce and edit than I really was kind of expecting. But I think it's perfect. I enjoy it very much so, and I hope you guys do too. And then before that, I had done an entry for Krull, and what happened to that video, it is still up, but for some reason, it decided to get a little bit of a little. YouTube didn't like it, I guess you could say. YouTube basically did not like that video. I don't know why. I guess it's because I play the movie in the background, but it's like a review for the movie. So I don't understand why it just decided that this video was not going to be monetized, but I'm not willing to fight them over a video like that because those are kind of, it's expected when you're doing this. YouTube is going to come at you and it's going to make it hard for you to do certain things. So I'd rather have the fight for the stuff that I kind of put a tremendous amount of hours and work into. And these are kind of, I've said it before, these aren't scripted. I kind of just like to sit down. I like to have a little fun. I like to talk about some different things, and I kind of just like to enjoy myself a little bit. I kind of look at them as like my way to unwind, so to speak. So, Krull, I love that movie and I love that video, so it's going to be up, but it's just not monetized because, whatever, YouTube, do what you got to do. I'm going to keep doing what I got to do. Also, somebody had mentioned in the comments, and I appreciate the support, and they made a good point because I was also talking about how a lot of the older entries to this series are now unlisted because I kind of just don't like their editing process. When they were pulled over from the old podcast, they're just audio with a visual, and I just kind of like, I feel like that's, you know, I can do more with that. So I'm going to be redoing them. You'll see a couple of those pop up over the next couple of weeks. I'm just going to be taking the same entries and just putting a little bit more flair to them, making them a little bit more enjoyable so you can actually watch them if you really wanted to. Also, speaking of just stuff that I like to do for the channel and also for any of my returning or new subscribers, I had posted about a month ago this idea I had on the community board for taking your favorite movies and reviewing them myself. And I got a lot of good feedback from it. Most of the people that, follow me, they kind of want this. The only problem is nobody's told me what they want me to do yet. So if there is a movie you kind of want me to watch, I would love to. Like throw them at me. I have no problem. I love watching movies. The only problem I have with even wanting to take this endeavor on, it's might be difficult because I have seen a lot of movies. I I will run into the occasional scenario where I'm just going to be talking about a movie I probably have already seen before. So it might be a little difficult on that end, but I would still love some suggestions. I just want you guys to be interactive and, I want to be responsive to that. So just drop them in the comments of the post or drop them in the comments of this one. I would love to get your favorite movie, and I would love to do an entry of it like this, just like my honest interpretation of the movie, how I felt about it, and, give my recommendation for it. I think that's just a really cool idea. I'm still learning a lot and I'm still growing with this channel. So I'm doing a lot of things different. I'm doing a lot of things, progressively trying to make things better, better lighting, things like that. And I've said it before, and I'm probably just, repeating myself, and it's probably getting annoying after a while. So let's go into what we really want to talk about now. And this is going to be a little different just because after what happened with Krull, I'm kind of a little burned, and this is not the first time YouTube has burned me. I'm still a very small channel, and I just feel like I'm getting burned left and right. But this one's going to be a little different because we're going to be talking about a film that it kind of just came up in conversation. We were sitting at dinner and we were talking to my in-laws, and we had mentioned the movie Cool World. I think it came up in a conversation regarding Brad Pitt, and somebody said I'd never seen a bad Brad Pitt movie. Now, again, opinion is separate from what is, critical or what could be a critical or financial success. So it could have been, panned by critics, did tremendous at the box office, and then most of the audience loves it. Then it could be most of the audience loves it, all the critics hated it, and it was a flop. Then it could be the critics loved it, It was financially successful, but after a while, people are just like, this is the dumbest movie in the world. There are just so many different iterations. It's kind of like a Rubik's Cube when it comes to the idea of a movie and what your opinion is and whether or not you enjoy it. That's why I loved doing the Daredevil video because 2003, I don't even remember how old I was, but it was just a different time for me. So I found a love and appreciation for that film. And that's why, like, over years, as I kept hearing, people don't like it, people aren't going to see it, people really don't like that movie, they don't care for it, they bash on it. Okay, I never found a reason to bash for it except for the obvious ones that most people say, but a lot of other ones just went above and beyond their dislike for that movie. So I wasn't one of those, and that's why I like to highlight those movies sometimes. Sorry about that. Off screen, for those who might not know that, I do have two children, and my wife is asleep right now. It's pretty late, so I heard one of them crying, and I brought the monitor in with me just in case it happens again. Of course, it happens. I've been sitting here for hours doing editing and stuff like that. The second I start recording, one of them is kind of having a bit of an issue. He's moving around a bit now. I think he'll be fine. So, where were we? Oh yeah, Cool World. Cool World. We were going to talk about Cool World. Now, this is going to be a little different because um, I don't remember the film all that well. And I usually like to talk about films that I just recently watched or even films that I remember fondly. The only thing I remember about this film is that I did enjoy it. And it kind of just pops up every so often because it's just kind of a conversation piece. Because it's sort of like this R-rated Roger Rabbit. Like Roger Rabbit was only a couple of years beforehand, and they kind of showed that you can be successful when you do the half live action and the half animation. So they went and they did this film. So now I'm going to quickly read the synopsis of it because I really don't remember it all that well. So we're just going to go straight to the Wikipedia page. Cool World is a 1992 American adult live action animated hybrid fantasy film. That's a lot. That's got a lot going on. Directed by Ralph Bakshi, excuse me, and written by Michael Crace and Mark Victor, starring Kim Basinger, Gabriel Bryan, and Brad. How's it going? Jesse from the future here. So I'm editing this now, and I'm realizing that perhaps it's a bad idea for me to be recording so late at night. I think it was about 2 a.m. when I was doing this, or maybe like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, something like that. And I'm realizing now that I totally said this guy's name wrong, which is something that I know is going to be called out in the comments. So I just want to get a head start on it right now. For some reason, when I was reading the name, the R and the Y were in reverse. They were in the other position. So that's why I was saying brine, when essentially it's actually burn. So that is my mistake. I am calling it out now. You will hear it said incorrectly throughout the rest of this video, most likely. I will try to catch each one and put a little ticker saying, yeah, I caught myself. My bad. And my bad to Gabriel Byrne. And yeah, let's keep going. Pitt tells the story of a cartoonist who finds himself in a cartoon-like universe he believes he created, where he is seduced by one of the characters, a femme fatale who wants to become human. Yes, I remember all of that. What is this line? I actually conceived it as a horror film. Really? Yeah. However, interference from producer Frank Mancuso led to an extensive rewrite from Grace and Victor and an uncredited Larry Cross. That's a G, Larry Gross. As a result, relations between Bakshi and Mancuso and the studio deteriorated, and the film had a highly tumultuous production. Interesting. Ralph Bakshi. This is his rap sheet? Hold the fucking phone. This is the guy who did... Oh, I can't. Hold on. Go all the way down the phone. There we go. Fritz the Cat. That's a weird film to have. I mean, animation makes sense, but that is a weird film to have a connection that deep to go all the way down to Cool World. as almost his last 90s film, Last Days of Coney Island, a short film also animated and background artist. So he hasn't done a lot, but never heard of this one. Never heard of that one. This is a fantastic film. I remember the Lord of the Rings animated film. It surpasses anything else. American Pop, great film. Never heard of it. I've heard of this one. I don't remember if I've ever seen it or not. And then Cool World. Interesting. So he wrote this originally as a horror film. That's interesting. The film box office bomb, 14 million against a 28 million budget. Despite its poor reception, Cool will develop a cult following. That I know. I know there's a lot of people out there that really do like this movie, despite its poor ratings, because it's not good. It is not. It is not rated well, but it does have its following, which is a lot of movies that kind of have these little niche things about them. They kind of build this status over many, many years, and despite not being successful, they have found success in the light of those who praise it later on in life, which, that doesn't really help a film at that time, but it's the name of the game. Sometimes you're going to be big then, and sometimes you got to wait a little while. I think there's more I think there's more movies with cult followings than there is movies that you would expect to be bigger than that. This is kind of a movie that screams cult following, in my opinion. This is definitely a film that I could see more being. Because it feels, even though it's got Brad Pitt, if it didn't have Brad Pitt or Kim Basinger, it would probably be like a copycat film. Like all it was doing was trying to do the exact same thing to make a lot of money out of it because they saw that it worked. But they really didn't, because the director and the original writer had been doing it for a long time. So that's kind of not the case, but it unfortunately seems like it's fallen into that as well. What else can we do to kind of jog my memory? Let's look up the trailer. Okay, here's the official trailer. Okay. Hopefully, I don't get tremendously flagged by YouTube, but we shall see. That's one of the only reasons I'm trying to do it like a little bit differently. I'm trying to see if what's YouTube going to give me a break on? Because if they just keep flagging my stuff, then I can't show anything. Then what am I writing reviews over? You're just going to look at my face for 10 minutes? Like, that's boring. We have to have some kind of visual representation. So let's try the trailer. YouTube, this is your video. You're going to flag me for watching your video? We'll see.
During his 10 years in prison, Jack Deebs created his own world. It made him very successful.
You're Jack Deebs, the creator of Cool World, right?
That's right. I forgot this wasn't even a Brad Pitt vehicle. Like, even though he's on the cover, Gabriel Bryan is more the actual lead, because he's the one that does all the cartoons. Yes, I do remember that now. Okay, starting to come back to me.
Can't believe this.
Now he thinks he's going home to the real world. But he's wrong. Real wrong.
Welcome to my world.
You're not in Kansas anymore! Freeze. Cool World Police. I'm a cartoonist. I drew all this.
This place exists with or without you.
Get a little closer here, babe. Give us a kiss.
Go away.
I'm out of here.
I've been waiting for you, darling.
So this is obviously a scandalous looking character to compete against Jessica Rabbit. Like, that's 100% what they were doing when they tried to design this character. And I know I'm probably stating the obvious, but I just feel like if I don't say it, then people might think, how could you not point that out? Yeah, this is 100% them just trying to rip off the idea of, hey, let's see if we can capitalize on how scandalous Jessica Rabbit was, because they did it for a Disney movie, and we can definitely get away with it, right?
Noids do not have sex with doodles. It's the oldest law in Cool World. If that happens, you call me.
I got it, boss.
Since it's only a dream, indulge your fantasies. Man is in the bedroom. Are you gonna follow the rules, or are you gonna follow your instincts?
special trip to the other side.
Buster. This is gonna be the biggest disaster the cool world has ever seen.
Stop! Cease!
Nobody's gonna stop me now.
I think that's the other thing that was the downfall of this film, is because the biggest reason why Roger Rabbit was successful was not only because it was good storytelling, but because it had actual like cartoons that exist in our world. They were cartoons that we could all connect to. You know, it had like almost everything that Disney had at that point in time, and all the big named Warner Brothers characters. It's the only film that ever sees the two of them collide together to tell the story of that film. And this is a bunch of nobodies. I think that's one of the other reasons why nothing was successful about this, because the animation doesn't look bad for 92, especially considering that, you know, Disney did it a couple of years prior, and it's as superior. Not as superior. Superior is the wrong word. It's as good as it would have been today. Like, I don't think there's anything they probably could have done better about that animation where the technology was at the time. And this is kind of on the same par with it. But who the fuck are these characters? Like, they're all created for this world that we now have to learn, and none of them are directly appealing. And that has to be like something that is a creative decision that came back to haunt them in the long run, because they didn't. I don't know if they got anybody. Maybe they got one licensed character or two. Like, it definitely needed more to kind of hold up the animation side of things. It can't just be this freelance of anything that's out there. Now, I could be wrong. These might be characters in something that I'm just not aware of. It's not in my repertoire of knowledge. And if that's the case, let me know in the comments. But I do not recognize any of them from anything besides this film.
You look good in the flesh. It's almost a shame I gotta take you back.
I just wanna be real.
You gotta slow down.
Not on your life, pal.
Enough out of you, kitty. This place should be erased.
Hey, it's a living.
Cool world.
We may not be real to you as yet, but we will be.
So is the entire premise of that film a cartoon that wants to be real? So it's like Pinocchio. Although she's like a stripper, and the cartoonist who made her wants to sleep with her. Is that the premise of this movie? I don't remember enough, and this trailer really didn't do anything for me. But if that's the premise, then it's really no wonder that this film is kind of just in cult following status, because that is not the best storyline that there is. I do want to read a little bit more about the production that this thing went through, though. Bakshi concepted a new film project involving a cartoonist who created a comic book while in prison that makes him an underground star. The cartoonist would go to have sexual intercourse with a femme fatale doodle named Debbie Dallas. I didn't realize her name was Debbie Dallas, a play on the title of the pornographic film Debbie Does Dallas, and father a hybrid child with her, half cartoon and half human. The child, growing up resenting its father for abandoning it, would grow up and go on to make a pilgrimage to the real world to try to hunt down its father and kill him. Ralph pitched the idea as a live-action animated horror film, where he had served as the final head of the studio's animation division some years earlier. Bakshi stated that Paramount Pictures bought the idea in 10 seconds. In addition to... So wait, the original premise... Okay, so I misread that. So the original premise is that he does have sex with a cartoon, they make a child, and it does a time jump where the child is grown up, and then he goes into the real world because he's half real and half cartoon, and he goes to kill his father. I mean, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that concept. Like, I would love I would love a Bakshi version of this. I would love to see what he actually would have done with this, besides what what Paramount decided to change about this. This doesn't sound that bad. Producer Frank Mancuso, son of Paramount president Frank Mancuso Sr., became attached as producer, leading Paramount to greenlight the film in November 1990. A long-running rumor attached to the film is that when Bakshi discovered that his original concept had been rewritten behind his back without his knowledge or permission, he got into a physical altercation with Mancuso that involved him punching the producer in the mouth. However, in a 2022 phone interview with Kevin E.G. Perry for The Independent, Bakshi put that rumor to rest, saying, "I never punched Frank Mancuso. That was just a rumor. I yelled at him a couple of times, but that wasn't his fault. I like Frank. I never punched him. Can you set that straight?" Okay. There's a lot going on with this. This is almost a story that might even deserve its own video too. You know, I just discovered that. I'm working on a video now for Harrison Ford regarding movies he was almost in, roles he turned down and stuff like that. And I discovered a lot about the film Dick Tracy and how like that had a tremendously difficult production. What's interesting about what I like doing for this channel is I'm constantly finding these background stories for all of these productions to movies that I've never heard of. And that's what I like finding. I like doing this research and finding these. So what you're kind of experiencing right now with me is me discovering something that I think kind of deserves its own video. So that might be in the works. I'm trying to get the Harrison Ford video out next week, while also trying to do a couple more of those Cinephile Redux episodes. So still trying to like push out as much content as I can, while also still trying to get back on board with my short form content. I really like doing those too. Those don't take too long and they can be kind of creative. For me, at least, you know, just kind of like, I kind of try to keep it to that 60-second mark. So if I can get that 60-second, even with YouTube allowing for 3 minutes, I'm posting on all of the different social channels. So if I keep it at a minute, it goes to all those channels and it's really easy. So that's why I kind of like that challenge. I feel like it's very much different in the way of what long form content is. So trying to do both, doing the best I can. If you are watching any of these videos for the first time, thank you so much. You are the best. I do hope you enjoyed this. I hope you stick around. Like, subscribe, comment. And again, check out that community post I left, because I would really love to do movies that you guys loved. I would love to see what other people enjoy in life, and I would love to kind of see if I've ever seen it before, and if not, I would love to give it a chance. I just need them. So start throwing them my way, guys. I'm ready for them. If you made it this far, you are awesome. Give the video a like if you enjoyed it, and let YouTube know I'm doing a good job. Consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already, and check out the other videos in the studio. All of this helps support me and the channel, so it is very appreciated. Whether you're new or returning, thanks for watching. Cheers.